Good morning. It's Phil Thatch, and I'm here in morning light, as you can see. And I've been working this morning in my car right here, and my targets have been up here on this hill, way up here. Right now, I'm about 20 or 25 feet from the camera, but my targets have been up there in that foliage, which is about 60 or 70 feet from the camera. So it has been a struggle. The camera today is my Nikon, whoa, is my Nikon Z8 and the completely awesome 600mm PF lens. Love this setup. I wish I had a little more firepower today. I could use the 800 PF today, maybe the 800 PF with a teleconverter. When I got here this morning, the sun hadn't risen completely. I mean, it was past sunrise, but there wasn't bright sun in this area. And the first bird I saw was, I think it might be a lifer. I don't know if I've ever gotten a Magnolia Warbler before or not. Maybe I have. I don't have a list. I should have a list. But anyway, I saw a Magnolia Warbler, very low light, and it was relatively close. It was over here in these pine trees, and I was shooting at 1/250th of a second and still had a ton of ISO, and I don't think I got a single shot of it that was good. Well, here's the first picture of the morning, a Magnolia Warbler, probably a lifer. I don't remember ever photographing one before, but I might have. All the pictures today will be 600mm and they'll all be wide open at 6.3. So I'm just going to give you my shutter speed and ISO. And this one is 1/250th of a second and it's 6400 ISO. So there's some problems with this one. There's a little bit of motion blur in it. And of course, when you have your ISO at 6400, once you clean it up, it's still not as good as it would have been if it had been a lower ISO, something like 1000 or less. But even with all of those problems, I still like this photograph, and it turned out better than I thought it would have. Next, I saw an Eastern Phoebe, and I made a probably bad shot of it. Here's the Eastern Phoebe, just tiny in the frame. It's another shot at 1/250th of a second. The ISO is down to 3600, and it's another shot that turned out better than I thought it was going to when I looked at it on the back of the camera and in the EVF. This is not cropped very much, but I like the foliage around the bird. The head angle's not great. It should be turned a little bit more to the right. And even that doesn't bother me too much in this shot. Overall, I just really like it. I like the out of focus flowers in the background and in the foreground. And I like these flowers that the bird is on. There's what it looks like at 100%. It's not the sharpest shot in the history of photography, but even that doesn't bother me. Next, I saw some brown thrashers, and I'd got what's definitely the best shot of the day. They were right there in the pine trees, about 20 or 25 feet from the car. And it's the biggest bird I photographed today and the closest, and had the best light on it. By that time, the sun had just peeked up over the hill in the background, and I had good light so I could increase my shutter speed. The brown thrasher is the best shot of the day. Not the most interesting bird, although I do love brown thrashers, but definitely the best shot of the day so far. Here's the first shot I decided to share with you of the brown thrasher. I have several that are way better than this, but something about this one hiding in the foliage of the pine tree it's in with its eye still nice and sharp. I really like that. This is 1/500th of a second. We've got much better light now, and the ISO is down to 500. Remember, my last shot was 1/250th of a second and 3600 ISO, and this one has twice as much shutter speed at 1/500th, and the ISO is all the way down to 500. You can see how much light there is in this brown thrasher shot. Still some foliage in the foreground that I'm not really fond of this particular branch in the foreground, but it's okay. This is 1/500th of a second, and my ISO is 450. And now this is more like it. This is a 1/500th of a second shot at 320 ISO, and this one I really, really love. I like the way the pine needles look out of focus in the background. The bird is absolutely sharp as a tack, and there's perfect light on it. If I would change anything, it might be this one branch that's covering the tail, but even that doesn't bother me that much. And I think I have one more on that same perch
This one with a slightly different pose, still 1/500th of a second and 320 ISO of the beautiful state bird of Georgia, the brown thrasher, just super detail. This is the kind of razor sharp picture I like to make. And it's really, these two or three are really the only ones I got today. The rest of my shots are from a long way away, but they turned out better than I thought they would have.
Next, I saw a common yellowthroat, which is a very interesting bird to me. I've made a few pictures of them over the years, but I haven't in a while. This one wasn't fully mature or fully in breeding plumage. I don't know, I'll figure it out later, but I definitely got a shot of the common yellowthroat. Not large in the frame, but I definitely got a shot.
Here's a tiny common yellowthroat, just long, long way away. This is 1/500th of a second and 1000 ISO. It's just tiny in the frame, but I still like the way it looks. It's not a fully mature looking. They have a lot of black in this area if they're more mature. I don't know, this one may be immature, it may be a female. So here's the allaboutbirds.org website on the common yellowthroat. Over here on the left is an adult male. This is a female. And I believe what I have photographed today is an immature male like this one over here on the right. There's an immature female. Ours is more like this. You can see just a little bit of black right here. So I believe this is an immature male. Here's another shot of that same bird. I'm still at 1/500th of a second and 500 ISO. Really like the scenery around the bird. I like the way the background looks, and I like all these plants in the foreground, and it's on like a sticker bush or something like that, a briar, and I just like it. Even though it's tiny in the frame, I thought it was going to be terrible, but the theme of the day, it turned out better than I thought it would. Here's another common yellowthroat shot. This one also turned out better than I thought, but I like those last two better than this one. This is 1/500th of a second and 400 ISO. And here is one more of the same immature common yellowthroat male. Also like this one, but not as much as those first two. 1/500th of a second and 200 ISO for this one.
I got a wren of some variety, just a terrible picture of it. I'm not sure if it's a winter wren or a house wren. It's definitely not a Carolina wren.
This is a northern house wren. I don't get pictures of these very often, but the funny thing is there was a pair nesting in my neighbor's backyard across the street. I could hear them all the time, but I never could get over there and make a shot of them. This is 1/500th of a second and 80 ISO. This branch and this branch are blocking the bird. Otherwise, I might like this shot quite a bit, but I just don't like the way these branches look right in front of the bird, even though they're mostly out of focus and not really blocking the bird that much. And then the next problem would be the bird's tiny in the frame, but it's okay. It could be worse. And, you know, I see Carolina wren all the time, and I don't see house wren that often.
Then I got a couple of really bad shots of the Magnolia Warbler all the way up the hill in the trees. They are about 75 feet away from where I was working in the car. I know I got a shot, but I don't think it's going to be any good at all.
Here's another shot of the Magnolia Warbler. Let's see if we can figure out where it is on the male, female, mature, immature scale. So this shot on the allaboutbirds.org website is of an adult male, and wow, they are really something, although this shot's not all that sharp. But I believe what I have is a female / immature male like this one over here on the right. And you can see the Magnolia Warbler breeds in Canada and the very northern part of the United States. And then they spend their winters down here in the southern part of North America. And here in Tennessee, where I am, they're only here when they're migrating. So you don't get to see these very often. This shot is 1/500th of a second and 72 ISO of the female or immature male Magnolia Warbler. Here's another shot of that same bird. It's 1/500th of a second, and I'm all the way down at ISO 64 for this one. I could have used more shutter speed on this one, but actually 64 is perfect. If you want the most dynamic range on the Z8, 64 ISO is where to go. And once again, these Magnolia Warbler shots turned out better than I thought they were going to when I looked at them on the back of the camera.
Next, another 75 feet up the hill shot was a Nashville Warbler. Really cool to see a Nashville Warbler. I was thrilled to see it, but I'm kind of disappointed that even though I was able to get it in the frame, it's just tiny in the frame.
This is the Nashville Warbler. This is the first time I've ever photographed a Nashville Warbler, which is interesting because I live in the state of Tennessee. This is 1/1000th of a second and 200 ISO, which is about perfect. Lots of shutter speed. This plant is called goldenrod. You see these all over the southeastern United States, and they come back every year. It's kind of pretty that the bird is near this flower, and just look how beautiful it is. And this one's nice and sharp. Really happy with the sharpness of this one, especially how far away it was. So this is the Nashville Warbler on the All About Birds website, and you can see it's the adult male has a little bit of color right here on the top of its head that I don't think the one I photographed has that. So the one I photographed is probably like this, a female or immature male. And we'll take a look at their range. Similar to the Magnolia Warbler, they breed here in Canada and the northern United States. They go a little more to the west than the Magnolia Warbler does. But in Tennessee, where I'm at, strangely, the Nashville Warbler, which is named for the city of Nashville, I'm in Chattanooga, which is over here, is only in Nashville, in my area, during migration. But I was thrilled to get this photograph, maybe my favorite photograph of the day. Now, these small in the frame photos that I'm showing you today probably look terrible if you're watching this video on your cell phone. But if you're watching this video on a larger monitor, a TV, or just a big computer monitor, they may look pretty good. Tell me what you think. I'd be really interested to hear. This is how much I've cropped it, and this is 100% to make it 4K in size.
Well, thank you for joining me here this morning at the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. I hope you enjoyed these photographs made with my Nikon Z8 and the 600 PF. Didn't really have a lot of luck today, a lot of birds, but not a lot of opportunities for good shots. So if you were looking for a good shot, I hope you like brown thrashers. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.